Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to the Self Campaign, where we are campaigning for ourselves. My name is Sarahlynn. I am your host, and this is my co-host, JB.
Hi, guys. How are you doing today?
We are so excited that you are here.
Yes.
So today's episode.
Before we get into today's episode.
Oh, yes.
How was your week?
My week was really good.
Good.
It was very good. Yes.
Yes.
How about you?
It was pretty good. Your wife's birthday was yesterday.
Yes, it was.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And so we went camping this weekend, and it was a lot of fun.
Yes, you guys did. I stayed home in the air conditioner where it is comfortable and relaxing. Yes.
Yes, it was fun. It was so much fun that I'm going camping again this weekend. So
yay!
Yeah, no, it was great. My week was amazing. I was able to do a lot of things that were fun, and I was able to make a choice yesterday, which is good.
Which is so exciting because we're talking about choices today.
Yes. So, sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure that we did let everybody know how our week was going. And
yeah, my intro was a little off today, guys. Sorry about that. Just trying to get moving, and this episode we're going to be talking about choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I use that word a lot on this show, and I'm sure there are a majority of times where someone has felt like, I don't know your life at all because there's not a possible way you could have a choice in stuff that's going down. And I get that because I have felt that so many times on so many levels.
Girl, I ain't got a choice.
Life. Right. I have to do this. It has to be done. So the show is really to empower you and myself.
Yes.
To be more authentic and show up more authentically so we feel better about ourselves and our choices. So I think it's really important to talk about choice and what does that mean and how can we do that and how can we start implementing that in our lives and even see the places where we have made choices and regardless of how it turned out, we made a choice. So now we can empower ourselves to move forward and maybe make a different choice, or that was a good choice. And so that choice is fine, but it's always good to observe and then do a little look back and see, and then decide how to move forward from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that one of the things that you've told me when we've had these conversations about choice is literally everything that we do is a choice. You have the choice whether or not you're going to get curly fries or, straight cut fries. And while that may not be a major life decision, it's still a choice.
Yeah.
And when you look at choices and you look at things in the sense of, oh my God, I have these major life altering decisions, it's really all the same thing as what is your intuition and your heart telling you to do? You know what I mean? Because if you say the words, I don't have a choice, that usually is your intuition telling you shouldn't be doing this, but you feel like you have to.
Well, either that or you have shut yourself off from your intuition so much that you have no idea what it sounds like or what it's saying. That too.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. I'm just lost in thought today.
Listen, it happens. And what I love about this show is in the fact that it is informal.
Yes.
It is us talking and having the conversations that we have. It's not always going to be this, super polished and
we're working on it, guys.
We're doing what we do, which is having conversations. And sometimes, like in other episodes, conversations have gone around the bend, and sometimes it can just be like, I forgot where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're real conversations and they're honest, and people who have listened, we went camping, someone was like, I really love your honest conversations.
Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you, listener. We appreciate you. I really am so excited and happy that this is reaching people and resonating with people. That's what I was really hoping for. You know, with all of my deep thoughts, I thought I cannot be the only person out here thinking all of these deep thoughts
Right.
by myself. So let's talk about how to become fully empowered in yourself, and what it means to show up every day as yourself in your authenticity. You know, I want to talk about you getting to decide how you interact with the world and how you show up, and everything that comes your way. You know, you get a choice. You may not choose what shows up, but you get to choose how you react or respond.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you realize that, the more empowered you are to step back and respond or not, instead of react and then walk away and feel very disempowered and like you were forced into that situation, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So what does it mean to have a choice? And do you think you get to decide to show how you get to decide to show up in every situation?
I think you know there was a time when I would have said no. You don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Me too. Me too. 100%.
But after kind of talking with you and other people and kind of sitting in my own situations and things that have happened, absolutely yes. You choose how to show up and how to present yourself. You choose, you know, what actions you take that will affect situations.
Yes.
You know, very, very quick story, quick aside. Sorry, guys, I'm actually, you know, pushing the show out to other people while we're doing this.
Next time we'll do this beforehand.
Usually I do it beforehand.
We just got so excited to start, and then all of a sudden started and realized we hadn't done that yet.
Yeah, so
hang in there with us. You know, we're human. We're humaning right along with you. So I love that you enjoy humaning with us. I used to feel like I was always getting put in situations that I didn't want to be put in. I was always doing things for people and not getting anything in return. I mean, the classic victim martyr. I mean, oh my gosh.
The complex, girl.
Me and those two, like, we were the three old wives, the three old witches from, oh God, what play is that?
From Hamlet?
Yes.
Yes.
And we just sat around our cauldron.
I would prefer to be the witches from Hocus Pocus.
Me too. But we just sat around our cauldron, just moaning and lamenting every day about how terrible things were and how I didn't have choices and all of those things. And what I had to realize was I actually had a lot more influence over what was going on in my day, who was showing up, how it was showing up, because I could make different choices and I could choose to respond, and I could even choose not to respond and just walk away.
Right.
So reacting versus responding is a big first step, right? I think. And
this goes into my story. So yesterday, I was in an event for a organization that I am joining, and someone walked in who I have very bad blood with.
You have very strong feelings.
No, we're gonna call it what it is. It is a fight on sight situation, and like recognizing I am not a person who gets angry.
Yeah.
I might get mad. I might be like,
you get in your feelings.
Yes,
but those feelings aren't a lot of. I don't think I've ever really seen you angry.
Yeah, no.
I've seen you hurt. I've seen you sad. I've seen you confused, but I've never seen you angry.
Right. This person walked in and I immediately got angry.
Like saw red.
Angry. And, you know, I'm still new to the organization. I'm still new to the group. I didn't want to be, you know, I have to play this, the tape in my head. You don't want to be seen as the angry black man. You don't want this. You don't want that. You don't want to go and pop off. You know what I'm saying? But this person did something to me that is literally a fight on sight. Yeah. And so I was like, I looked at my friend and I was like, we have to go. And I told the two people that were sitting with us, was like, love you guys, but I gotta go. And I realized as I was coming home, I was mad, like mad. And I realized I was coming home, I was like, I made a choice.
Yeah.
You know, I chose to protect my peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose to, you know, remove myself from a situation that I knew would not serve me in a positive way.
Yes.
And I think that is
so important. Sorry, I just want to point that out. How many times have we been in situations where we just let it escalate and not protect our peace? And then 2 days later, we look back and we're so frustrated, but a lot of the frustration is focused at ourselves because we're frustrated how we reacted to the situation.
How did I let somebody take me so far out of my
Yes.
character that I reacted in this way?
Yes. And so that is huge, and that is so important. That's what we're talking about, guys. Can you be in a situation and realize that you have choice in that situation, even though it doesn't feel like it, and you get to protect your peace and who you are, and you don't let anybody take you out of your authenticity. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And this reacting versus responding, which is what you were talking about.
Yeah.
You know, my reaction was to pop off.
Fight on sight.
You know, my reaction is fight on sight. You know, but the response was, I don't have to do this. I can leave.
I'm an adult.
You know, I was able to take a couple of breaths and say, I don't have to do this. Mm-hmm. This ain't my ministry.
This won't serve me.
This won't serve me. And I think that is the biggest difference between reacting versus responding. Reacting, you take choice out of it. You are doing something as an automatic response to stimuli.
Yes.
Whereas responding, you can, you know, you give yourself the grace and the space to think through not only the action, but the potential consequences of the action.
Yes.
And then, you know, make your response based on that.
And make your choice.
Yes.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. Honestly, what you did in that situation was choose not to respond.
Yeah.
Like, and so many people are like, well, but I have to respond. I have to, first of all, when you haven't even thought about it, you are very reactionary. Or at least I know I was. Everything. I reacted to everything. Everything that came up was an immediate reaction. And then I would get stuck in the spiral of, oh, I hate who I was in that moment. I'm really mad at myself for showing up like that. Except instead of using that language, even though that's what it was, I would start blaming the other person. They made me do this. They made this happen. They forced this out of me. No.
And then that's the victim.
Yes. So when you move to responding, that's taking that breath and seeing all of your choices and deciding which choice to make. And one choice that a lot of people don't make that I feel like is like the next level is choosing not to respond, which is huge. And Jayson, that's what you did. You said, you know what? I have seen this play out so many times with this person. Not saying I'm a fortune teller, and I'm not taking their choice away from them. I just know from the interactions that I've had in the past, unless this person has evolved immensely in 24 hours.
They haven't.
Right. That this is probably going to go this way. And I don't want to do this.
And the thing is in that point, at the moment in which I saw that person, it didn't even matter whether or not they said something or did something that was going to take me out of my character. The damage was already done.
Yeah.
And I was going, had I stayed, I was going to do something.
Yeah.
And I knew that because the more I sat there, the angrier I got.
Yes.
And even though I was like, focus on this, focus on what's happening in front of me, you know, I was telling myself giving myself the kumbayas and the mantras and all of those things that we do. You know, I was counting to 10.
Yes.
You know, all of those things. I still was like, I could see this kettle starting to boil. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I was at a wax demo, and I could just see myself taking that wax and throwing it right in that person's face.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? This is the time in which I need to remove myself from the situation. And you know, while some could say, you know, you gave this person power because, you know, they took you were able to give them this, you know, you left. But no, I kept my own power because I didn't go to jail.
And that's the thing that people have to understand. It's not about anybody else. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. If the best option for you in a moment is to remove yourself from a situation, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Go. Just go. Because if you were having such a good time that their presence wouldn't bother you, then they would be taking you out of your power if you just left. But if them showing up and you understanding like how things have gone in the past and you know what's going to happen, you know, it's just as empowering to leave something as it is to stay and try to be the bigger person.
I ain't the bigger person.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, so many people are like, just stay and be the bigger person. Just stay. No, protecting your peace. What did we talk about last week? You are responsible for your peace. You are fully responsible for your peace. And Jayson, you took your peace and you said, I'm protecting this tonight. Mm-hmm. And you left. Mm-hmm. And that is the most adult, most empowering decision you can make.
This is going to sound really random, and I'm listening to you, I promise. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Kristen Sandberg. Okay, go ahead.
So, you know, that's just, hey, Kristen. So there is a huge difference between reacting and responding and removing. And a lot of people don't get to the remove situation. I think that's like Facebook and Twitter, why they can be such cesspools sometimes. Because how many times, totally guilty, just so you guys know, how many times have you've seen something, you react to it, you type it out, you send it, and it just keeps going. Are you hiding?
Because you ain't talking about me. I don't do that.
So, but I have started typing things out and then deleting them and just moving on. Because I don't have to respond.
Yeah, I think that we get into a situation, especially in those moments, you know, there's a thing about the anonymity of Facebook and Twitter, the keyboard warrior thing, where you don't see that other person as a person.
Yeah.
So you feel really kind of empowered to just go in and then, you know, saying things, you know, there are things that you will say on a digital space or a virtual space that you would never say to somebody in person.
Yeah.
You know, not me, because if I said it, I said it.
Right.
But
this is true.
You know, there are people who really do have, you know, a hard time with dealing in digital spaces or keeping their mouth shut on things that they wouldn't say, you know, out loud, and just feeling that kind of empoweredness. And I think I used to be really bad at that. Mm-hmm. I used to be terrible at, like, you know, I had to be the keyboard warrior and I had to be the person who was right, you know. And
do you want to be right? Or do you want to be happy? Do you want conflict or do you want peace? These are the questions we have to keep asking ourselves over and over and over again.
And you know, there was a point in which I was like, I am literally wasting my energy on somebody who I probably barely know.
May not even know. And I'm not going to change their mind. Like, yes.
I'm not going to change their mind. So what am I gaining out of this conversation?
Right. Is it a conversation or are we just screaming at each other into a void?
Into a void. And it's like, you know what? I don't need to do that. I don't have to. It's fine. You know, and part of, I think, my growth, you know, and in us doing this is I tend to stop now and think about those things. Like, how does this serve me?
Oh, that makes me so happy. Guys, if just once a week you stop and say, how does this serve me? What am I going to get out of this? Like, I've done my job and I'm so excited. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, how does this serve me? And it literally was a, you know, yesterday was a, how does this serve? It doesn't serve me to do this. It will put me in, you know, I will be in trouble with the organization I'm in. I don't want to do that. And, You know, people will look at me differently, and I don't want to do that. And
you may get arrested for assault.
May get arrested for assault.
We don't want to do that. You don't look good in orange, sweetie. I love you, but
yes, I do. I look cute in orange.
Okay, sorry.
Don't do me. I mean, I don't want to be in orange, but like orange is a cute color on me. I have the skin tone to do it.
Yeah. Sarahlynn, that was a really good question. Could you have stayed and ignored the person? Well, here's the thing. Jayson decided that was not a choice that was going to work for him to protect his peace.
Right.
And if he had stayed, ignoring some people, you just know it's almost impossible to ignore them. You try really hard. That's what staying and being the bigger person. And then that person, and you know how this person is, but I'm going to stay and be the big person. And then they come and they pick and they poke the bear, and then you respond, you react. And then they turn around and play the victim and are like, oh my gosh, did you see that? And of course, nobody sees
the picking
15, 12 pokes beforehand.
They just see you pop off.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I don't often have situations where I call them a fight on sight.
This is true. I've never heard you use that term actually until yesterday.
Yeah. And so fight on sight means I don't care where you are.
Yeah.
It could be your mama's house, your job, church, you know what I'm saying? Like
granddaddy's funeral.
You know what I'm saying? Your nephew's bar mitzvah. You know, the planet Mars. It don't matter where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. If I see you, we're moving furniture.
Yeah.
You know, if I see you, it's going to be slow singing and flower bringing. Mm-hmm. That is what that is. And yes, I probably could have stayed in that situation and just begin to get, you know, more angry and more emotional because that's where I was.
Yeah.
And this person could have said, I could have heard this person's voice and immediately went, oh, we're windmilling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because the thing this person did to me is a violation of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so, no, you know, at that moment, I could not have stayed and just enjoyed myself. I would have been a miserable bitch.
Well, and the other thing you have to think about is how your energy affects a space.
Yeah.
And you know, you could call it woo, whatever, but just from being myself, I've had people say, Sarahlynn, the energy in the room changes when you come in. Yep. Everybody gets happy. Everybody has a good time. My energy affects the space. And if I'm in a space with people that I respect and somebody comes in and my energy changes, people notice.
Yep.
People pick up on that.
I was actually sad. We felt your energy shift.
And it's a disservice to whatever group or thing you're doing and you're there to help. If your energy shifts so much that they notice and then it takes away from what they're doing.
Yep.
So the most responsible thing to do is to remove yourself because it's not serving you. It's not serving them. It's not serving anybody.
Right. And so that was the choice that I made to bring us back.
And I think that's a fantastic choice. I love it. I'm so proud of you and so excited because I don't think you would have done that a year ago.
No, a year ago I'd have popped off. I'd have punched that dude dead. I'd have closed that motherfucker's windpipe.
Right. And then
I'd have been in jail.
We would have been in jail. The group probably would have thrown you out. You've worked really hard to get in with this group. You've done a lot of things. And you're going to serve a lot of people with this connection.
Right.
It's not going to serve people for you to close somebody's windpipe, get arrested.
I mean, I would have felt great.
In the moment.
But then they'd have said me that I'd have had a hospital bill to pay for. I ain't got no money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Other legal
3
bills.
hots and a cot.
3 hots and a cot. It wouldn't have been cute. It would have been a bad idea. No. So, no, I did the thing that I think was the best decision for me in that moment.
I think you did too. I really do. So, speaking of taking a few breaths, when you allow yourself a moment or a breath, you can actively choose to either participate and how you will participate, or you can choose not to. Either way, you are empowering yourself instead of unconsciously reacting.
Yep.
And that's the most important thing. You get to choose. You have power and choice. And in any moment, it is yours. If you are very intentional about how you want to show up in the world, and you're very intentional about who you want to be and how you want to present, because that's what makes you feel good, and you react to something, it's okay.
Right.
It happens to the best of us. It really does. But I want you to know that you have a choice, and one of those choices is to just walk away.
To just say, I'm done. Say, I don't have to do this anymore.
Because so many people say, no, you have to stay. You have to be the bigger person. You have to do all. You don't have to do nothing but eat and drink water and sleep. That's it.
That's it. That's it.
And as adults, I don't care what anybody told you as a kid. You get to choose. You have a choice. So make your choice.
And then and make your choice from an authentic place.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So many times I think we do what we've been programmed to do.
Ooh, like that thing that I saw.
Yes.
The reason why you are not confident, I saw somebody posted this on Facebook, and my whole brain shifted. I was like, what? Like the earth moved under me. The reason why you're not confident in your decisions is because you were taught that your decisions need to be made to make everybody else feel better. And that's how you make your decisions. And that is not how you make a decision at all.
You do what's best for you. The world will adjust.
Yes. And so many people are like, oh, that's selfish. What about all the people around you? But here's the thing. When you start doing that for yourself and you protect your peace and you start making decisions that are best for you, you teach the people around you, number one, how you want to be treated and how you deserve to be treated. And number two, you teach them that it's possible for them too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I think when, you know, this goes back to boundaries and some of the other conversations that we've had, we continuously teach people how to treat us.
Yes.
And, you know, and in doing that, we, you know, if you've always taught somebody that they can walk all over you.
Yes.
When you then make the choice to change.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, how you will be treated and how people can, you know, affect your world and what boundaries, when you start to make the choice to set those boundaries up, you will be amazed at how often the people that are in your life that are supposed to be in your life will go, oh my God, I'm so glad you finally did it.
Yes.
And those people in your life who were taking advantage will fall away.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I've seen that happen in real time in my own life multiple times. We've talked about it on a previous podcast.
Yeah. Like, so it is, and that is a choice. That is a conscious choice that you have to make. You know, so even if you are a person who, like I am, you know, inherently a loving, generous, caring person.
Yes.
And I've seen.
And you will give people
the fucking world.
No, the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
To the nth degree.
Yes. And I had to make a change and make the choice to say, to protect my peace and to protect the peace of the people around me, you know, I have to set up clear boundaries.
Yes. And
those boundaries have to be a choice. And, you know, I have to choose to say no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry. You know, someone's like, oh my God, I need this and this and this. And this has been so, you know, if I could just get X, Y, and Z, you know, and they're not asking because, you know, they know not to ask.
Yeah.
But they just say something and you go.
You try to fix it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me see what I can do. I've had to learn to go, man, that sucks.
Yes. And that is one of the hardest things for people like us to do. It's so interesting to me what happens So what you said earlier about, oh gosh, I wish I could go back, but I didn't want to interrupt you. You were talking about, um, at the very beginning of this, we teach people how to treat us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry, guys. So when I was younger, what I thought was the way I treat other people is how I want to be treated. So I am showing them.
Treat people the way you want to be treated.
But how you show people how you want to be treated is setting clear boundaries, calling people out on those boundaries when they cross them, having very compassionate but firm conversations when somebody does something or says something that is not okay with you.
Grandma, I don't wanna.
No, stop. I love you so much. I love you.
I mean, but it's true. Like, it's that is.
It's not how you're, because that was my victim. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all of these things for all of these people and they all see it and nobody's treating me that way. That's not how you show people how to treat you.
No.
How you show people to treat you is those boundaries. Because they go along, it's like a little kid, right? They're going along, and all of a sudden they're going towards the hot stove. No.
Right.
And you set that boundary. This is how we do this thing in our lives that teach people how to treat us. It's not, they're going to watch how I treat others and they're going to treat me that way.
Right.
It's, I have to protect my peace and I get a say.
And how I'm being treated.
Yes. And I get a say in these relationships.
Yep.
And I get a say in the conversations we have and how those roll out and all of these things. So that is how you teach people how to treat you.
And I think that one of the things I think that's so amazing once you learn that is it is literally a game changer.
Yeah.
You know, it is like, oh, okay.
I am empowered.
I am empowered. I can say, no, you won't treat me that way.
Yes.
And, you know, and that's also coming out of your victim.
Yeah.
You know, because it's easy to sit in your victim and say, well, this person did this to me, and this person did this to me, and this person did this to me, and oh, poor pitiful me, woe is me, blah, 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 blah. Everyone's always doing this thing to me. But when you step back out of that and you take a bigger picture and you go, I have allowed them
yes
to treat me in the way that I have been treated.
Yes.
And I won't allow that anymore.
Yes.
It changes the game.
Yeah.
You automatically, just even me saying that right there just gave me this burst of confidence. It was like, okay,
yeah.
You know, yeah. And knowing that I have the choice based on people in your life,
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Based on the things that I can then choose whether or not I want to keep people in my space based on how they react to my boundaries.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
And you get to negotiate.
Yeah.
This teaches you negotiation, and this teaches people that, listen, relationships are not a one-way street. Relationships are a two-way street. And if you cross a boundary, we're going to have a conversation about it. This doesn't mean that you jump into your victim and run in somebody's face and you did this to me and blah, 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 blah. No, this is stepping into your power and saying, listen, having a loving, compassionate conversation, if this is a relationship you want to try to salvage,
mm-hmm.
having a loving, compassionate conversation about, hey, listen, you crossed this boundary. We have to talk about this because this can't happen again. Or deciding maybe, you know, looking at the evidence that maybe this person has shown you who they are. Do you really want them in your life?
And then make the
you
choice.
Can choose to remove them.
Yep.
And they can be removed.
And no matter how close she is,
no,
everybody can beat feet.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's not, that's
because you are responsible to protect your peace.
Yep.
You are the one who is responsible.
And I think one of the things that we talk about, you know, and, you know, especially as we get older and you know, family becomes more important. And, you know, I had the blessing of having a family that, you know, is really close. We talk all the time. Yeah. We generally get along.
I love your family. Oh, I love you guys so much.
You know, and then I'll hear people talk about like, their families and how their stuff is, and I'm like, I could never. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I could never.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, but it's family. And I'm like, yeah, but my peace is more important.
Well, it's not just that. It's you're an adult now. If you're 40 and you have older family members who are still talking to you and treating you like when you were 8, that's not okay.
Yeah. I mean, I have family members that I don't necessarily rock with. And, you know, I don't have to make my intentions clear and say, I don't rock with you. I just choose to not rock with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. It's an internal journey.
I don't have to make, like, there doesn't have to be a big declaration.
No, you don't have to make an announcement. It's not like the airport where I am now departing.
Hear ye,
Yes.
hear ye.
Yes.
I want you to know that I am no longer fucking with you.
And here's the thing. When you do things like that, that is actually causing drama and not, well, you're making a choice, I guess, but
You're making a choice.
you're choosing to stay in that victim.
Yes, absolutely.
Because standing up and saying, decrying your victimhood and telling everybody about it isn't moving you out of it, right?
No, you're just hanging out.
Yeah, so these are all very internal, intentional things. You can choose to make them external if you want, but look at your intention behind the external conversation. And what is it? If your intention is to show up with compassion and love because you want to salvage this relationship, that's a great place. If your intention is to show up so everybody understands how this person wronged you, that's your victim.
Yep.
You're still hanging out with your victim. Your victim is front and center. And if you want to be empowered, I'm sorry, your victim, and your martyr have to have a breakup.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
No.
So I'm gonna give you a second to go ahead and go into the next thing.
Okay.
I will be right back.
Yes. No problem.
Okay.
All right. So when you do react to something, sorry, I would have moved over.
No, you're fine.
When you do react to something, when you have a moment where somebody takes you out of your authenticity and you have a reaction, please, please, please do not judge yourself. Do not beat yourself up. Do not hang out with your victim there either. We're human. Humaning is hard. We're gonna human and we're gonna screw up. The beautiful thing about taking a little observation after a reaction is you get to decide how you want to show up the next time something like that happens. So you get to take a look. So let's say, Jayson and I are having a conversation and this guy walked up, person, I don't even know if it's a guy, whoever the person is that showed up, walks up and Jayson has a reaction and he's not happy with it. What he can do is a little self-assessment at home later and say, gee, I really didn't want to do that I really stepped out of my power. Next time this happens, how am I going to show up? Next time I'm in something like this and I start reacting, can I realize it? Can I take a breath and take a space? Okay, cool. I want to choose that. Okay, once I do that, what do I want to choose? Okay, I get to look at my options and choose something. So if you do, because this is not something that once you learn, it's not like a college degree. Once you learn it, it's yours forevermore. No, this is an active participation in your life and choosing these things over and over and over again. It will start to become a habit. But while you're trying to learn this, it's going to happen. You're going to have a screw up. Something's going to happen. So just give yourself some compassion and some grace and some space, and understand that if you have a moment where you do react to something and later on you're assessing and don't beat yourself up, have some compassion and just say, okay, the next time something like this happens, how do I want to show up? And ask yourself that question. And then choose how you want to show up. And it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take some practice. You're going to have to keep doing it, but I promise it will get easier.
You know what else is easier now?
What's that?
Reading things because I did not have my glasses on. I'm blind as a bat.
You and me both.
Could not see nothing.
Nothing. Not a thing. No. Mm-mm.
I was like, I can't do this.
I know. Okay. So, let's go to, what are your core values, the root beliefs that a person operates from?
Ooh. I thought I could turn that off.
That's okay.
That's okay. I think that for me, like, my core values are honesty and integrity.
Okay.
And I am a strong believer in the truth matters. And so, like, one of my biggest pet peeves is people who is lying. Do not lie to me about nothing. Like, you can't even lie to me about who drank the last of the milk, because I can handle 95% of anything that someone has to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can deal with it. We can work it out.
Yep.
All of that stuff. But if you lie to me and then I find out about it, it's like that trust is broken.
Yeah, you've broken the trust.
And so,
and a relationship is built
on trust. And it doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is.
Not just intimate relationships, working relationships, friendships, family relationships. Those are all built on trust. And when that trust is broken, it's so hard to fix it.
It's hard for me. It is almost impossible, because I will always be like, that bitch lied to me though.
Do you know that she lied to me back in 1989?
She lied to
I don't
me.
care that it's 2021.
I don't care.
She could have grown.
She lied. She lied. She's a liar. A liar. And so it's one of those things that's very, very, very difficult for me to get past. And so sometimes, when those are the core beliefs that I operate out of.
Yeah.
I can handle so many other things and deal with so much stuff, that comes my way.
Mm-hmm.
Lying that's the boundary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do not lie to me.
And that's why I asked this question. You really have to sit down and ask yourself this, what are your core beliefs? Mine are, I really need to think about this. How bad is that? I meant to do this, and then I forgot. I honestly, off the top of my head, I would say mine are probably love and compassion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that's true. But I think that comes with, I think honesty and integrity go hand in hand with love and compassion.
Yeah. Which is why we're such good friends,
yeah.
And we work so well together. I mean, I was very much on the honesty, loyalty. Loyalty was one of my big ones.
Ooh, that's a big one for me too.
But what I realized was loyalty allowed me to sit in my victim.
Because I was loyal to you, but you weren't loyal to me.
Yes. So loyalty can be, as long as, first of all, you're loyal to yourself. And what that looks like is setting your boundaries and protecting your peace,
mm-hmm.
and choosing yourself. When we decide to just stay quiet to protect the peace, we stop protecting our peace.
I would like to protect this camera to go the right way so it's not tilted.
And then
Sorry.
No, you're fine. And then we what we do is we disempower ourselves, and we're basically telling ourselves that we're not important.
Yeah.
And when you tell yourself you're not important over and over and over again, you become not important. And I think a lot of us have been in that space probably more than once, and it's an awful space to be in.
Yes.
So how you stay out of that is you be authentic with yourself, and you empower yourself, and you set those core beliefs and values, and you set your boundaries, and you hold those lines. You can hold them with compassion and love. You do not have to beat people up and, karate chop them every time.
Right in the net.
Right. It can be done with love and compassion.
Try this chair and
But it is so important for you to really figure out what your core beliefs and values are. Make sure you are intentionally showing up with those every day. And when people overstep your boundaries, you do something about it.
Right. And you have to, you have to look at it in the sense of everybody, we all want to put our best foot forward in the world.
Yeah.
Everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, X, Y, Z. We all want people to see us in the best light.
Yes.
Even if you say, I don't care how people look at me, or I don't care how people view me, that's a lie. You care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so as long as what I have learned is as long as I show up honest and with honesty and integrity and authenticness, I am authentically me. The people who are supposed to see me in that light are going to see me in that light, and I don't have to do anything or change anything about it.
Yes. And the people who turn around and try to shed a bad light on you, some people will buy it, but not the people who know you and love you.
Right.
And a lot of times what happens is people start taking a look at the patterns and go, wait a minute, 1 + 1 is not equal in 2 here. What's going on?
What's the problem?
And then they take a look and they're like, oh, I see. Okay.
And I think that it's also, a situation. As long if you're showing up authentically and you're showing up, as who you are. Because all the time, growing up and even well into, the ages I am right now, you have to tone it down a little bit. You're too much, i.e. you're too gay. I.e. you're too femme, or you're too this, or you're too that.
You're too much because I'm too emotional.
Too emotional.
And
you're
I
loud.
Read it all over my
this,
face, and
you're that. Well, the people who live for me live for the fact that I'm loud, I'm sassy, I'm funny, I'm witty.
We live for that. We live for it. Okay.
Those are the people, and those are the people that I want in my life, because those are the people who are going to enrich me.
Yes.
You're not going to try to stamp my light down. And
who is it? I think it's Lisa Nichols. I want to say, but I could be wrong. Oh my gosh, she is a motivational speaker. She's amazing. And she says, don't you dim your light for anybody. You just hand them a pair of sunglasses, and she starts throwing shades out to everybody. She said, here, if you can't handle it, put these on. If you can't handle it, put these on. I was like, yes.
And I think that what's beautiful about that, and I will tell one more story.
Nope, you're fine. We love a good story. You and I love a good story. Come on.
I had this person that I worked with, and we worked together for a long time. And as far as I was concerned, that was my work wife. That's my best friend. Blah blah blah. One of my best friends. It's my ride or die. And as time went on, I noticed that she would do things or say things that I'd found offensive, but it was like, no, I'm not. That's not where that's going. That's she didn't mean it that way.
It's okay because it's her.
It's okay because it's her. And I would find, people would be like, that's not really your friend. Like, real talk, she's not your friend.
Yeah.
And I would step back and go, no, she is. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? It's how we relate, blah, 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 blah. And I found I would spend a lot of time, being her cheerleader.
Defending her.
And defending her and doing these things. And then, it's wasn't until I left that job that I, halfway I was leaving that job, like that it was like, no, this person really isn't my friend. Like this person doesn't really have my back. And it wasn't anything like major that happened that made me think that. It was just, wow, like
an accumulation.
It's an accumulation of all of the times that like I held her down, because that's what I do. I live authentically and honestly and all of that. And then and this person didn't have that same, treat people like you want to be treated. I didn't show her you can't do certain things to me.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that she said to me that I take to this day and didn't like it when I threw it back at her was, I'm not responsible for how you take the things that I say.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Which is absolutely true.
That is very true. But you always follow that up with, you are responsible for how you present what you... I'm not responsible for how any of you take the content that I'm putting out there. I am responsible for the content that I'm putting out there and how I put it out there. Am I showing up for you the way I want to? Am I showing up in a way that feels good and right and true for me? And as long as that's true, it's fine. However it's received is how it's going to be received.
Right.
If I am using that I'm not responsible for how you receive what I say to be a toxic, awful, horrible person, that's not okay.
Right.
And you can tell. If somebody throws that line at you and they just said some bullshit, it's fucking bullshit. And you can call them out on it.
I tell people all the time, people always like to use that Nene Leakes, I said what I said.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But everyone forgets that Candy responded with, and what you said was some bullshit.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to, and I can look back on that friendship and think of times where I wasn't necessarily a good friend. And I can own that. You know what I mean? Like, I can definitely own the times where I was like, yeah, it's kind of shitty there.
But that's okay. That's what personal growth is.
Right.
Personal growth is looking back and saying, how did I show up in that situation? Am I happy with how I showed up in that situation? If not, what's the choice I'm going to make next time? What
am I going to do to be better in that situation? Right. And I think that to me is, I am a big believer in friendships help us with choices. Friendships help us. We learn from people. Some people are there for a little bit. Some people are there for, a long time. And then there are people that are there for life. A lesson, a season, a reason.
Or oh, shoot. Sorry, you threw me off with a lesson. A season, a reason, or a lifetime.
Right.
A reason, a season, or a lifetime. That's what it is. A reason is the short one. A season or a lifetime. Got it. Okay.
Or I say leaves, branches, and roots.
Yeah, I like that one.
And this was a branch type of friendship because we were friends for a long time.
Yeah.
And we had gone through ups and downs.
Yeah.
And it just was one of those things where,
and sometimes you just outgrow people.
You just outgrow people.
And that's okay.
I'm fine. And it took me a long time to be okay with outgrowing people. I know we're kind of off topic, but
no,
it did.
I got to play Frozen for you over and over and over. Let it go. Let it go. No, totally.
It is very hard for me, especially people, because once I let you in that circle, then like I let you in for a reason.
Yeah.
And so it's very hard.
And you don't want to feel like you were wrong.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, and I really want you guys to listen really closely. When somebody shows you who they are, not tells you. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Okay? When we did the trust episode last week, I don't feel like I iterated it very well, but I really want you to understand there are steps and levels. Like, I'm not telling the people who are untrusting to jump right in and just start trusting people. There are small little things that you can give people, like, hey, let's go out, let's meet up for coffee. And if they're really flaky about that, they're probably going to be flaky about the rest of your friendship. Hey, let's do this. Okay, if they're really bad about that, that's probably not one of their strengths. So you get to decide if that's something that you want to choose or not. But you just have to remember that you have these choices. And part of the responsibility of having those choices is when people show you who they are, believe them, and then decide what kind of relationship you'd like to have based on that.
If at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you can be like, you know what? I thought this was something.
And that's okay, because everybody has people out there. They will find their people, I promise. Not everybody has to be your people, okay?
That's for people like us, that's a hard lesson to learn.
I know, because we talk to everybody.
Offense post, girl.
So, one of the most important things with choices is how do you want people to see you show up in the world? Now, granted, there will be people who will be on some bullshit and say some things. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about how do you want to show up every day in the world? That's your choice. So start making your choices from that intention. What are my core values? How do I want to show up? How do I want to be seen? This is how I'm moving forward. Okay. Let me see. There was one more thing I thought. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. So, how do you want people to see you in the world? Remember, this doesn't mean everyone will see you that way. However, if you always operate from that space, you are always showing up in your authenticity and integrity. If someone is operating from their victim, they will always find a way to be the victim.
Ooh, quick note, side note, I don't remember the name of the author, but there is this book that I read.
Shoot, I have it at home.
Have you read it?
Not yet.
You need to read it. It's so good. It's called Breaking Free from the Victim Trap.
Yes.
It is an amazing, amazing book. I really felt like this woman read my whole life. You know what I mean?
There is one spot that you were talking about that you weren't crazy about.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely written in the 70s.
Okay, so it's a little dated.
It's a little dated as far as like gender identity and so sexual identity. So don't come at us for that.
Please.
But the underlying
overarching
overarching concepts are the same, and how we victim mentalities can really cause serious, interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, pain, a lot of suffering.
Mm-hmm. And it was really, really good.
I haven't started it yet because I'm reading a different book right now, but I do have it on my nightstand in my pile of, I have like 5 books on my nightstand.
Shout out to Miss Elliott for giving for giving me that book and letting me literally like live in it and just be. I'm gonna read it again. It was that good to me.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for my copy, by the way. That was very sweet. So if someone is operating from their victim, they will always find a way to be the victim. Remember the dinner and the dishes story from last week? I was like, hey, why aren't you doing these dishes? And my wife was like, well, because you always come in after me and fix them. And if I can't do it right, then I might as well not do them at all. Now, I could have sat my victim and been like, oh, my wife is such a terrible person. She doesn't even put the dishes away. But no, I'm the one who forced that to happen because I could not keep my hands off the dishes and let her just do it.
And she said, well, do it then.
Yes. So just remember, okay? And if you start to see a little pattern with yourself, maybe have a little come to Jesus with yourself and say, hey, victim, I love you. We hung out for a while and you protected me and thank you for that. However, I'm going to leave you right here and we're moving on now. But she'll be fine here. Don't worry. She'll show up a lot. I promise. I promise she will. She always comes back.
Always do.
So if you have somebody in your life who is sitting in their victim, that is not your problem to solve. That's the big point I wanted to make on that. Okay? So if you're showing up authentically and there's somebody in your life who is in their victim and they keep blaming, You can't fix that. You're not responsible to fix that. What you are responsible for is to set your boundary and decide if that is still a relationship you want to keep in your life. All right, guys. So our call to action. All right. Write a list of your core values. Okay. See what the underlying theme or themes are. This would indicate how you would like to show up in the world. Okay. Notice a moment in the week where you might have reacted. And then, with grace and gentleness, ask yourself how you would like to respond, if at all, the next time something like this comes up. Okay. Decide that is what you will do every time it comes up. Notice it without judgment and decide how you want to show up the next time. I promise it will get easier. I promise. If you do it enough, it will happen. From two of the most stubborn victim martyr people
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-oh.
I'm not one of those.
Uh-huh. Mm.
She's talking crazy.
All right, guys. So we're going to see you next week for a new episode. Are there any church announcements?
Well, there will not be a Jackbox Games tomorrow because I will be going camping again.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So Jackbox Games not this Friday.
Not this Friday, but next Friday there will be a Jackbox game. We're going to do a supersized Jackbox game. I'm going to start it at like 8:30.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be so much fun.
And then let's see. Next week for KC Legends, there will be L and BR from Black Kink, Kansas City.
Oh.
We will be talking about black leather and black kink and the intersectionality between, all of those worlds and all of that stuff. That's going to be on next Monday. So check that out. And then Wake the F Up comes back on Wednesday with Danielle.
Yes.
We are going to limit Wake the F Up to one day a week now, just because, starting to get busier. Things are starting to happen. But it is, I love doing that show. It's great.
And I love Danielle and you and the energy that you have together and how you play off each other. It's so fun. Yeah.
There's another show on the horizon. Doesn't have a name yet, but it will be with, I'm thinking about calling it Ratchet White Girls.
Guys, if you really want to know about all the shows, just hop over to the KCAPC, Kansas City Alternative Podcast Collective main YouTube page, and you can see all of the goings on there. Yep,
and there'll be the KCAPC website is still under construction.
We're working on it. We're really good at this.
This is what we're good at.
So, but we're learning. We're learning.
I still do my streaming stuff. I am. So, for those of you who, pay attention to my video game streams, or if you want to just, donate and give because you enjoy the things that we're doing here, I am currently running a donation drive for a PS4 camera so that I can play, so that you can see my beautiful face when I play PS4. And then if you just want to give just generally, we do have the Cash App that'll start at 481 where you can give to either one of those, and then the Patreon, which is a monthly donation. The Ko-fi is coming up soon. I have to just get the stuff configured for it. I just haven't done it yet, which is also another subscription-based platform.
Nice.
That we're going to be using for individual podcasts.
Excellent. All right, guys. So, if you want this to keep going and you want to see our beautiful spaces and hear us talk about all the things, please, if you feel like donating, give us a donation. We'd love to have that. It'll keep this page going. It'll keep the Kansas City Alternative Podcast Collective going.
And growing.
And lots of good things. We're doing so much. It's so fun.
It is. There's so much going on.
It's so fun.
I said I ain't never been this busy in my life.
I know.
Jesus, what is happening here?
All right, guys. Well, listen, we will see you next week. We'll be back next Friday. Is that right? Okay, so
we'll be back on Fridays.
So I know it's been weird having these 2 Thursdays back to back, but summer. I mean, come on, guys.
It's summertime. It's like the perfect camping season.
It is the perfect camping weather. Yes.
And so, I'm trying to get the camping bug out.
Yeah.
Of me while I can.
Yes.
So yes, this is absolutely. We're going back to regular Friday.
Perfect. Fridays at 5 p.m.
At 5 p.m. Central.
So that's 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yep. And, you know, you'll always, if you've missed an episode.
Oh, no, 6 p.m. Eastern.
6 p.m.
Oh,
Eastern.
my gosh.
Yes.
I was like,
5 p.m.
wait, that
Central.
sounds wrong.
And if you've missed an episode, all of the episodes are on there for you to catch up. This really is something that builds on itself.
Yes. Each, I've done these very intentionally. I've laid the outline very intentionally that one episode feeds into the next one, feeds in the next, and you really builds a skill set from there. You can watch them separately. You don't have to watch them in order, but you can, and they're all available. Please hop on, like them, share them if you know somebody who you think could help. Or as Jayson says,
if you patty like me,
they need it. Go ahead and share it with it. Go ahead and share it.
You need to listen to this.
All right, guys. So we will see you next week.
Yes, and thank you so much, and thank you for campaigning for yourself.
Yes, love you guys. Bye.